Hello, everybody. We're here for the second round of the Battle Faggots Forever podcast. Everybody say hi.
What up?
Hello.
Hi.
Cool, cool.
Hi.
What's good?
Shut up.
Okay, so we got three topics we're going to just kind of jump in today. But the first topic we're going to get into and dive in a little bit head first is going to be there's a problem in America right now, and we all can agree that there's these master race of people called weeboos, and yeah, we're just going to rip them apart for about 10, 20 minutes.
I don't know about you. What if I want to take the defensive side of weeaboos?
I just have to point out, Devontae, I love the fact that whenever you say weeaboo, you don't pronounce the A, you're just like weeboo.
Weeboo.
Weeboos.
Is that like supposed to be a race thing, bro? Because I'm black, like.
What?
Like
Honestly, it actually is.
White power.
Oh god.
Yeah, what he said.
Please don't beat me up.
The topic is weeaboos, not white supremacy.
There's always time for white supremacy.
No, there's not.
I don't think we're gonna. This isn't attracting the right kind of crowd.
I think we should just start talking about weeaboos. First of all, who wants to explain what a weeaboo is?
I'll jump into this. Okay.
I don't know. I don't trust your explanations of things.
Oh no, it's not an explanation. It's just a little background because I mean, recently I didn't really understand what a weeboo was until a guy named Filthy Frank came into my life and he put things into perspective.
Filthy Frank does explain it best.
He kind of really dives into it to the point where it's like, I think a good chunk of my friends in high school were weeboos, but yeah, I never knew.
All right, tell us what your definition is. Via Filthy Frank.
A weeboo just sounds like someone who just gets like a mental hard-on from Japanese culture that they've only seen through like Japanese advertisement or anime or Japanese drama or K-pop. I shouldn't add in K-pop. I'm gonna get yelled at, but besides the point.
So you could say
Weeboos
J-pop.
are just really awkward people.
Just to throw some people under the bus, I kind of do feel like weeaboos listen to K-pop.
I mean, but they
This
probably...
is the part where people who only listen to K-pop start screaming at us that they're not weeaboos, right?
But, I mean, you could also say that they listen to J-pop. That would make a lot more sense.
Who listens to J-pop, though?
Weeaboos.
The logic in that.
I don't know, man. That doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I feel like the problem I'm having with weeboos in general just kind of has to be like the complete disconnection from their own culture to like move on to this next culture, and I feel like it's done so poorly because all you hear them talking about is anime, going to visit these like sites like Osaka or something, or like people constantly talking about how they just want to experience certain foods and they only can name certain things like onigiri, and like that shit just gives me a headache after a while.
The difference between a weeaboo and a person who wants to be immersed in the Japanese culture, like I've said before, is that a weeaboo wants the Japanese culture through like very surface level things. They don't want to like dive deep into the Japanese culture. Like they don't want to perform tea ceremonies, and they don't want to like go out and like get the same fashion that they do or some like shit like that. They're all surface level people.
It's like,
So what's the word you would use for people who are not of Japanese descent but still obsess over like the deep stuff, but you know
Like
aren't
people-
actually a part
people-
of the culture, kind of.
Uh,
Because the thing is like you can like look at people who would be considered weeaboos, or you can go to like fucking JP on 4chan, and like there's people practicing like fucking tea ceremonies and like, oh, I'm wearing this traditional kimono, or I'm like doing this thing that's of like Japanese culture, but they're still like, you know, they're fucking weeaboos about it. They're not like, I don't know quite how to put it, but it's still only like a surface level interest, or like it's completely dismissing their own culture, like this is the superior culture
the thing is,
culture type shit.
well, yeah, that becomes borderline of just being like a supremacist, which really isn't about what immersing yourself into a culture is all about.
there's
You even
there's
be
a really
supremacist of a culture or a race that you're not.
Yeah, you totally can. Because if you think about it, like race is what you're born with, but a culture is something that you adopt and you kind of can choose for yourself.
Okay, that's true.
So you can totally become supreme about some culture that you aren't even. And
Yeah.
I'm sure you can do it with race too. I mean, it's all relative to the person, really.
I mean, it would look really silly and be kind of dumb, but
But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Joseph, you've
I
been
see your
trying to
point.
speak. You've been trying to speak. What do you want to say?
There's a really weird and thin line that's between someone who enjoys the culture, but I don't consider a weeaboo, and weeaboos.
Yeah, of course
Because
there is.
there's like it's really thin because they both love Japanese culture. They both want to be more interested. They want to learn more about it, and that's great. That's awesome. Go learn about your fucking culture or not your culture, their culture. Do you. But when it comes to the point where you will prefer things simply because they come from Japan, you're a fucking weeaboo.
See,
When it comes to the point where you're like, oh, the superior Japanese-made katana could easily cut through plate mail, you're a fucking weeaboo.
I can exactly follow up on that because I, I don't know. It's just like I don't like throwing people under the bus, but I have dealt with a lot of people who kind of just like the culture for the sake of liking the culture, or liking things just for the sake of liking the culture. For instance, I had a friend who really wanted to try sushi just because it's a Japanese cultural thing when she doesn't even like fucking fish. So it's like, why even eat raw fish? It's like you're trying too fucking hard, you know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That makes sense. Or,
like
relatively. Yeah.
like I have I kind of sympathize with people who like Japanese culture. Ramen is my shit. I can get down to some fucking mochi, and I love me some fucking sushi.
Oh yeah, you make a great top ramen.
Yeah, fucking know it.
Like well, look, for example, a friend of Joe and mine's, his name's Evan. He's like, I mean, he loves like all fucking cultures, but he's like super immersed himself in Japanese culture as well, and like he's not a weeb about it type of.
Yeah, like I had like conversation with Evan about like his immersion in the Japanese culture because we were talking about it at dinner, and like he's doing it like with an actual like passion to try and discover this culture. So like I'm fine with that. Like he even knows how to speak the language. Well, kind of, not as much as I do, but you know, he's okay.
Yeah, Evan, he's gonna be a linguist, and that's impressive. Like he fucking
Okay.
he loves cultures in general.
Well, let's
He
not talk
doesn't
about
like.
Let's talk about
Huh?
weed. Let's not talk about Evan though. We'll talk about Evan when if he's ever here.
I think you're thinking of a different Evan,
No, I know what you're talking about.
Davis Pally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
No,
don't know,
but-
I just kind of have a problem because
No. But let me just get. Let me
Okay,
finish it.
Go for it.
Oh, don't interrupt me. The thing about him is that he just likes culture in general,
Intro.
and that's totally cool. He's not a weeb because he likes learning about cultures, about that culture. He just likes. He's just kind of passionate about learning how it is in different places, which is, if that's how you are with Japanese culture, that's cool. But if you're like Japan is better than America in every way possible, you kind of have a problem.
Yeah, I mean, like anyone who holds supremacy has a problem.
Yeah,
But why
a lot of weebs.
But why has it like only recently become a problem? Like,
What are you talking about recently? Weebers have been like a problem forever.
I don't really think it has been a problem since I think about 5 years ago, because even then, anime and just the Japanese culture in general, you'd only get that one weird guy or that one weird chick who'd like
The-
really be into
well,
it. But now
the
it's
thing-
like full fucking
No,
group.
here's the thing: is like weeaboos have always been a thing, just like geeks and nerds have always been a thing, and like fucking hipsters have always been a thing. The difference is that like as we've moved through the years, it gets spread through the internet and social media, so more people are becoming aware of it. And then the people who are into it, or the people who become into it and are obnoxious about it, we're more aware of them because they have a place to voice their fucking opinions, which is the internet.
Yeah.
So
There have been weeaboos that like predate the modern century even.
There are weeaboos from the 1600s.
It's true.
Yeah. I mean, if it's not Japanese culture, it can be like anything else technically. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could you say a weeboo is someone who like really wants to get immersed in like Romanian culture or something?
Well, it's
Weeaboo
technically not
specifically-
the right word because
Yeah, because
weeaboo
weeaboo specifically applies to
it applies
to
to
Japanese.
Japanese culture, but it's the same concept. Except I don't know what you'd call them. Fuckboy, maybe.
a fucking loser.
I like fuckboy. I prefer that term.
People who
Fuckboys.
don't shower and are covered in Cheeto dust.
That's an entire beast of its own.
That's just not.
That I would like
That's
to.
an
Like,
entirely different podcast, man.
that's a subspecies of like neckbeard, and that's an entire discussion for another time.
That's kind of gross, dude. Lenny, you've been silent. Are you like?
All right.
holding
Well,
back
I
some
have to
feelings?
dip because I said I was leaving by 8:30.
I'm eating food right now.
Okay.
Peace. Goodbye, podcast.
Bye, Joseph.
Joseph.
He won't be missed.
Then there were three.
I mean, who does miss Joseph ever?
I certainly don't miss Joe.
Me neither.
Fucking hate Joe.
Sometimes when Joe leaves the room, I feel like the world restarted and it's a better place.
I'm definitely not driving for 14 hours this Friday just to see Joe.
Mm-mm.
Not at
Nope.
all.
Nope. I'm definitely not going to be in that car.
Don't listen to Drake. Drake's gonna make you want to crash your car.
Okay.
So anyway,
Okay. That's a shame, Joe Joseph. Okay, I guess we can move on to the next topic. And
Yeah.
I basically
Joe
just
took the weeaboo topic with him.
he left with the weeboo topic basically.
that would have been our segue, but now this is our segue.
I guess.
Everybody
Transition of
feels a
music
little
in the third
awkward.
gear. Okay.
You know what makes segues not awkward?
Uh,
Go on.
oh, you know what? I think I know what you're trying to get out of me here. I think I understand what's going on.
I mean, what better place?
Anyways, so here's Wonderwall. And I hit the wrong chords and I'm done.
All right, sounds good. All right, next topic.
Please don't make me do that again.
You are so cancerous to my health. Okay. Next topic, we're just gonna divulge into a little bit of. Recently, I've been realizing, as I've been growing up, I turned 18 last year.
Good job.
This year just started. I'm gonna shut the fuck up about that. Basically, I've been realizing since I've been getting older that there's a lot of TV shows out there that honestly came a little bit short for its time, and to be honest, kind of they're works of art in their own way. They're just extremely underrated because I don't know, a lot of people or a lot of hipsters didn't say that they were awesome enough for other people to like them. And
Right.
I want to hear from everybody if they have one or two shows that they feel like. I know we talked about last week about cartoons like that we felt like we could bring to this generation, but I mean at this point, are there shows out there or anything you can really just think of that's like, wow, I really wish this could have got the hype train like Attack on Titan or something. You know?
There are for sure shows like that.
Well,
And Joe would have said Freaks and
Yeah.
Geeks,
which-
but something I kind of sorry, I'm not trying to like silence you, Cole. It's just so I kind of feel like while it was underrated, it's kind of reached the point where it's a cult classic show, and when something becomes a cult show, like has a cult following, it's no longer really underrated. Like it may have been underrated at the time of its release, but you know,
What is a cult
Yeah.
following? I've never heard that before.
so stuff like Rocky Horror Picture Show or Arrested Development or Freaks and Geeks are shows or movies where upon release they weren't that popular either because people just didn't like it or like it didn't have enough advertising or whatever. Basically, it flopped like for its time, and then later on picked up like a lot of like a huge following for it, even though it's now gone and done.
I see.
So, like, for example, Arrested Development, I don't remember how many seasons it had originally, and then, like, they canceled it because it wasn't doing well enough. But Arrested Development has a huge fan base. And it was big enough that Netflix actually made a final, like, one more final season for the show. Like, last year or the year before, I don't remember which.
Is it kind of like how they did Futurama? How they canceled it, brought it back, canceled it, brought it back, canceled it, and brought it back like
Kind
third
of,
time?
except Futurama, like, Futurama's always been popular. It's just that, like, it's always either been properly canceled for a little while, or it's been like, oh, we're gonna cancel it, and then they don't actually cancel it.
Yeah, like they've always made episodes during their cancellations that kind of wraps up the series, but for Arrested Development, it ended on a completely like non-ending note. So Netflix was like, okay, let's wrap this thing up for people.
Yeah.
Because everyone
Like,
wants
the way they ended Arrested Development before Netflix did one more season of it was, it was kind of on an ending note, but at the same time, there was still something more that they could have done. So, like, the way they ended it, and this is like huge spoiler alert, but the son and father are basically like, fuck the family, we're done trying to, you know, clean up after them, and we're just gonna go and like start a new life, like, without them. Like, we're not gonna let them influence our lives anymore. And, you know, it was kind of like a wrap up, but it wasn't really like, it wasn't as neatly done as they could have done it if the show hadn't been canceled.
Like Legend of Korra?
I don't know, because I haven't seen the last season of Legend Korra.
Legend of Korra's series wrap up was pretty fucking awesome, so I have no problem.
Dude, that was just. We're getting off topic, but that was just so much fan service. I'm sorry.
I mean, not really, because if looking back at it, okay, we can't talk about the ending of Legend of Korra, because if there are people that have not watched the ending, then we can't talk about it. So let's not talk about it.
I feel like I'm not gonna say what happened, even though I know what happened and all that, but I feel like it would have been fan service if they had heavy handed it more than they did.
Okay, but just agree with me on this.
The way they put it, it wasn't, or the way they put it, it wasn't ham fisted and, like, you know.
But they didn't solve anything. At the end of the day, she went on this long ass spirit quest to understand balance and stuff, and understand why the people are the way they are. But after everything was said and done, honestly, did any of those conflicts get resolved? Did any of those things get reflected besides just the ending kind of seeming like an ending, you know?
Well, that's the thing about the whole Avatar world, is that they can't solve everything entirely. It's just like when Aang like defeated the Fire Lord, it's like, oh yeah, everything's great, but everything was definitely not great.
Yeah, the way they ended it,
a problem for an Avatar to solve.
Yeah. And the way they ended it with Aang was they didn't even end it like everything's happy now and everything's perfect forever. The way they ended it was like he beat the Fire Lord and then he was like, yeah, sure, I did that, guys. But now I've got to go through the world and fix everything.
Yeah, and that's where they ended it, which was perfect.
But that still wasn't actually the ending of Avatar: Last Airbender, because he lived on and did more things after the show ended, which was all revealed in Korra.
So Avatar,
like,
we can have a debate about Korra alone, dude.
What I'm gonna say to wrap it up, though, is that the Avatar series is a series that can never end with everything resolved, because there must always be a problem for the next Avatar.
It's at the creators of Avatar said they're basically.
But anyways, back to underrated shows. There's a show that's going on right now that's pretty underrated, except for the world of Tumblr that I live in, which is Orphan Black.
I've heard about that. I haven't actually taken the time to look into it, but I've heard about it.
This show is bomb as fuck.
Wait, time out. Again, repeat the name of the show for me.
Orphan Black.
Never heard of it.
And yeah, okay, see?
I remember seeing trailers for this, and every time I would see a trailer, I was like, ooh, I should watch that. I haven't gotten around to it yet.
It's a great show. And I give props to the lead actress who literally plays like 15 characters in the show. and she has such great acting talent that she makes every single character different, and it's amazing. That show is so underrated, and it needs way more fans.
That sounds sketchy. Someone playing a fuck ton of
Okay,
the same
well,
people in the same show.
So
The-
I haven't actually watched the show, but based on the trailer, I don't know if it's clones or what the deal is, but
Yeah.
basically there's a lot of like girls out in the world, and they all are the
Yeah.
same person, but they've all
The-
grown up under different environments and stuff, and so they're actually
Yeah.
different people.
The plot is that this woman, Sarah. No, wait, is Sarah one of the clones? Oh God, I don't remember her name. Sarah, it's Sarah. She finds out that there's other people that look and are genetically exactly identical to her, and then they turn out to be clones. And yeah, they all live different lives, and she's basically like trying to figure out why the fuck this is what it is. And it's such a good show because she plays all the clones, and she does
That
a
actually
great
sounds
job.
kind of good. Like one
Yeah.
clone could be super like depressive. One clone could be like a party girl. One clone could be like a
Well-
strung out drug addict.
Well, yeah. Well, you would
That's
think
a
that they
really
would-
shallow way to look at it, but yeah.
Yeah, but you would think that they would make them very surface material people, like, oh, this one's happy, that one's sad, that one's mad, this one's glad, etc. But they're all really like genuine, like people. Like they don't have a stereotype that they follow. All of them are like people.
Just going
But-
through different shit, basically.
Yeah, it's just a person that lived different lives and how
It's-
they turned out.
It's a great premise for a show because if you really think about it, like you are a product of everything that's happened to you and where you've been raised and all that. And all it would take is like one little change in your life earlier on, and you could be a completely different person than you are now.
Yeah, like it even comes down to the point where all of them like sound and have different mannerisms differently just because of who they are. Like one of them is like the main character is British. One of them is Russian. Another one is like I think, is one of them Australian? I don't remember. But they're all pretty awesome. And even the people who all share the English like dialect have the different like accents from America. It's incredible. I love that show, and it needs like a billion times more fans.
I love you, Cole. You just nerded
Yeah,
out so hard.
Dude, you kind of like converted me. That shit, the way that you put it, it sounds kind of cool.
Okay,
Like, can you send me a link after this?
it's on Netflix. You have Netflix.
I need to use Lem's Netflix because I'm black and I don't pay for my own Netflix.
Okay,
Yeah,
but yeah, Orphan Black is such a good show, and I could nerd out about it all freaking day. But that's the underrated show that I'm bringing to the table. Orphan Black needs 1 billion more fans.
I don't know. I've been watching a lot of shows lately, and I feel like one show that I kind of like. It's a cartoon again. I watch a lot of cartoons. I'm never really into like dramas and stuff, but this one specific cartoon came out in like 2000, and I feel like it was just way ahead of its time. Was called Mission Hill. It came on Adult Swim for a long time, and I don't know. They kind of just got rid of it after a while. But I recently found some episodes on YouTube, and I kind of like binge watched the whole only season and was like depressed, like why the hell does not anyone know or care about this show at all? It's like you have a snappy gay couple, you have like an older brother dealing with his younger brother living alone together with roommates, and then you have these adventures that they go on, and it's like the adventures are so basic that they don't seem, what's the word I'm looking for? Obviously, like, this doesn't happen on a daily basis, but more or less, this doesn't seem like shit's just impossible. If that makes any sense.
So this is like the first I've even heard of Mission Hill. I mean, I've seen screenshots of episodes before, but I didn't even know that it was like what it was until now.
If you watch it, I'd honestly think you'd probably, like, really think, like, wow, this show was way ahead of its time. And it honestly is. I mean,
Well,
I can see
to be kind of
like,
fair, like there's a lot of TV from the early thousands, and I mean this went from 1999 to 2002, which is
Yeah.
probably part of why I haven't heard of it.
And it's
But
also time.
there's a lot of TV from the early thousands and late 90s that had gay characters or gay couples in it. It's just you had to play it well, and you had to have a lot of other stuff going on for people to really be like, you know,
No, it
not be
doesn't
like, hey,
revolve
get
around a
rid of
gay
this
couple
fucking
though.
shit.
It revolves around like the main protagonist Andy
Like
and his like little
exactly,
brother Kevin.
but to be fair, a lot of Adult Swim shows don't run for a very long time.
Yeah,
That is given.
unless you're Family Guy or American Dad.
And those aren't
yeah.
aren't like
But they weren't
Adult Swim
born on.
shows.
Yeah, they weren't born on Adult Swim. But
Exactly.
that's where they
Like
live.
stuff that's made by Adult Swim or born on Adult Swim, that stuff usually doesn't last long. And it's not because it's bad. It's just Adult Swim's kind of always moving through material, and they kind of give anything a try. Like
Sure.
they don't really shy away from giving stuff a try. And when you do that, you're not gonna always have stuff that you know.
I mean, out of like all the stickers, there were like a handful. Like for instance, if you ever seen Moral Oral, I felt like that tied in and ended really well. And then you
Yeah,
have things
Oral
that are
Oral,
still
Aqua Teen,
going.
Hunger Force,
Aqua
Tim
Teen
and
Hunger
Eric,
Force
Awesome
is still
Adventures, Robot
going.
Chicken, The Venture Brothers, Rick and Morty.
See, Rick and Morty is a beautiful show that
I love Rick and
surprisingly not a
Morty.
lot of people
It
know
doesn't
about.
count as underrated though, because
Yeah,
it's really popular.
you'd be surprised how many people don't know about it.
Whoa.
You'd be surprised how many people do know about it. It just hasn't had a second season yet, is all.
It's because like blatantly, even I think the creators of Rick and Morty did not expect their show to be anywhere as popular as it was.
Yeah, that show was popular enough for like my older brother to know about it, and my older brother knows jack shit about TV. So
Yeah. Children's Hospital, even that's more of a cult classic type show.
Children's Hospital is cool because I'd only watch it if there was like absolutely nothing else on TV and my parents didn't pay the internet bill. Like shit got real when I watched that show. Ugh. That's what I just think about going to bed. I'd be like, fuck it, I've had enough TV
nice. I'm glad that TV show was a last resort for you.
today. There was a lot of last resort TV shows for me. Like, I don't know, when I was younger, I was kind of a little dick when it came to like watching TV, so I'd only watch certain things I've been watching forever. But I was I was happy those times that the cable got turned off because I got to see shows like Malcolm in the Middle, which were just like beautiful that I would have never knew about if I was stuck being such a little spoiled brat, you know?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. Okay. Can we get a transition of Wonderwall, please?
Yeah.
No. God.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm gonna play another song for you. It's called "Crawling in My Skin" by Oasis. Crawling in my skin, these wounds they will not heal. I'm done.
That shit, like, you leave that shit outside.
Now that your biography is over.
You leave that shit outside. Now that was cancerous.
Well, in my defense, I've never self-harmed.
Oh, me too. Good for you.
That's a lie.
Dirty.
I gave it a try because of Joe.
Stop.
Lem, are you just like casually eating?
Oh, yeah, good job, guys. I'm enjoying the show.
You're a part of the show.
Oh, I am? What the fuck?
He's clearly not at this point. We've gone through 2 topics and he's.
Yeah, I'm just
nothing.
listening in. Don't mind me. I'm just gonna be here, and I will interject when it is my time.
Your time came up like twice ago. What have you been
Twice
stuffing
ago?
your mouth with?
Twice ago.
All right, it's time to add a new element of time to the dictionary. It is twice ago.
Sounds
Meaning or
pretty dope.
Meaning
Still
or
gets the
reference
point
to something
across.
that happened twice in the past.
Twice in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is Back to the Future.
So like twice ago today I peed. You know.
Four scores and twice ago.
See, you know what's nice about twice ago is it's flexible. It doesn't have to be applied only to minutes or like only, like days or anything. You can apply it to any already existing amount of time as long as you give enough context.
Yeah. Well, what he said.
I feel like we should like pen the word twice ago, or like the phrase twice ago.
It has been patented.
Like,
We could do that, but I have the feeling that we're not going to make any money off of it.
Yeah.
So there's really no point.
actually, I think the best business model I've ever seen in my life was on Fairly Odd Parents. And Cosmo, he said he was the king of breathing, and every time someone breathed, they owed him a nickel.
That would be a good way to make money.
That's
But then
That's
comes
an
the
ass
question:
ton of money.
when you consider breathing to start and breathing to end, like is it every time you inhale and then exhale? Is
every
that
time
one
you
breath and
inhale
you
and
owe a nickel
exhale.
for that? Or no, wait, listen to me, because when you say breathing, that implies an act of taking multiple breaths. So is it like a predetermined amount of breaths equals one breathing, or are you just breathing until you hold your breath for a while and the cycle gets interrupted for long enough?
Well, I feel like he answered his own question because every time a group of people gasped, or anytime anyone gasped, he'd hold out his hand and be like, pay up.
But you could argue that a gasp is like interrupting a cycle of breathing.
True.
This is like conspiracy theory logic. We're looking way
Why are we-
too deep into
why are we
how
talking
sick
about-
ass
If we want to talk conspiracy theories, there's a guy I know we should get in on this.
Can we
Oh.
not even talk about
Oh,
this?
let's bring in our guest star, the guy Whitney knows.
Can I not? I don't want to associate with him.
You know what I realized? We didn't do introductions this whole podcast.
Yeah, we don't do
We
introductions.
don't need introductions because
Oh.
we shut up.
We shut up. Got
Yes, we all shut up. I mean, Whitney, shut up.
Fuck it, I'm killing myself.
Shut up!
it. Stop.
Okay, we need to get back on topic. We have one more topic we need to burn through, guys, and it's basically just a topic of how video games and their effects on just people in general. And it could be anything. Do you really think video games make people violent? Do you really think video games help people get through issues? Do you really think video games ruin children's lives? Or just in general, do you feel like the video games today are like, what the fuck's going on? Pong used to intrigue the fuck out of people at my grandma's age, but now it seems like everything needs to be first person shooter, like 1080p fucking graphics, and like you have to be able to see every bead of sweat and every nipple in like full HD, like full.
Yes
HD.
to all of the above.
Yes, all of the above. Well, yeah, I completely agree.
What game are we playing that's showing nipples in HD?
Call of Duty, the Call of Duty, modern gay fuck stupid.
I'm just
Are we-
saying, Call of Duty.
Are we
Okay,
playing
done.
like God of War or something? What's going on?
No, what's Call of Duty? Dude,
Oh, we're playing the Nips of War.
I think
Is this nipple? Is this like nips like nipples? Or is this nips like Nippon Master Race?
oh my god.
Question here.
I think the whole video games being bad for people is entirely relevant to the person who's playing them.
Yeah, see, you could be me and be like failing at life.
Yeah, there's people who play GTA and feel like they need to go kill people. And then there's people who want to play GTA and feel like they need to go drive a fast car. Then there's people who play GTA and just go eat some hamburgers because they're done playing GTA. Like,
It's based entirely on the person, and it has to do with whether they are easily addicted or not, whether they deal with their issues in a healthy way through video games or in an unhealthy way, and then whether they are, I don't want to say smart because it's not really based on intelligence, but
wise.
it's not. I don't really feel like it's a wisdom thing either. Like, I don't feel you have to be necessarily wise to be able to be like, oh yeah, video games and real life are two different things.
Well, I mean,
It's like maturity.
You have to have common sense.
Yeah, it requires a certain amount of common sense. that you fucking leave video games in video games and real life in real life.
I mean,
Because
if anything,
I've
take
met
good-
people who've been like, yeah, man, like, you know, like, it's kind of like a lack of understanding of consequences in real life. And so they kind of just treat life like it's a game. And that's not necessarily because of video games, but video games haven't helped them either.
the thing that I feel is that the only thing you should take out of a video game is the good memory of playing it and any of the good morals that they give you.
Trying to get good morals in video games is nigh impossible. Like, okay,
Bro, I play Pokemon and I get good morals all the time. Never have I
Yeah.
ever learned to appreciate like a pet as like a companion more than what Pokemon has taught me.
But they're not really your pets or companions. You use them to fight people. You know,
You can also use them for beauty contests, and you can also.
but
play
the main goal of Pokemon is fighting other Pokemon and being like the shit, you know?
Wrong. The main goal of Pokemon is building lasting relationships with your Pokemon.
Well, fuck that. I just want to beat
Professor-
people up.
Oh, Professor Oak says it in the very beginning of the very first
If-
game.
then
we
why
have
is
just-
Professor Oak Blake like? Why do you always start off the game with
People,
like someone running away from Pokemon in fear?
we,
If they're so fucking
Pokemon is secretly evil. Let's just
The whole
face it,
point-
guys.
No, the whole point is
Pokemon's fucking evil.
Pokemon are-
we have
Pokemon-
just established which people should be playing video games and which ones should not.
exactly.
We've got Whittney over here who just wants to be.
So I get to play all the games, right? Right?
No, you get to play
Yes.
no games. We're
I
gonna
play all the games.
Okay, like here's an example. Say for instance, you're a little bit older, you have a son, and all your son wants to do is sit in his room and play GTA all day.
Okay,
Do you
that's
tell him to
unhealthy.
get the fuck outside, or do you just like
I'd fucking disown him. 'Cause
I
fuck
mean,
that,
here's
dude.
no, here's my
Here's the
question.
thing: is I feel like you have to handle that situation delicately. Like you can't just be like, "Get the fuck out! I fucking hate you," kind of shit.
Also, it's like
I would do
that's-
that.
It's like also another thing I want to know about my son is how. Hold on, let me just create a fantasy world for myself. First of all, has playing GTA decreased the quality of life my son is living? Like, are his grades slipping?
Your son's
Yes.
like eighth
Are
grade.
are they turning him into a shitty person?
He's in
Yeah.
eighth grade. He's
Like,
like a
for
B
example-
I was
student.
already a shitty
Because
person.
if he's a straight A student and like is like healthy and like bathes and whatnot and wants to play GTA all the time when he's not home and not doing his homework, but that's fine.
He has a shitty.
Oh, bro, what if he's like suppressing all his inner desires to kill people and then suddenly he just snaps one day?
Okay, that's an issue beyond video games.
Yeah.
Like we've just gone into an entirely different realm of problems. If your child is suppressing the urge to kill people.
I don't know, I feel like it's related to video games because
No, I feel
video
like- I
games
feel like
bring
it's
out your inner urges.
No, but they don't.
I mean,
I mean, it's like
Oh.
watching porn. Like, are you gonna like go out and rape someone?
Someone might because they don't have fucking common sense and
that's why like all these
all
things
that
are
shit.
they're relative to the person who's experiencing them. Because like I said, there's people who play GTA and get violent. People who play GTA and become like fucking like Grand Theft Auto committers. I don't know what the fuck that's called properly.
And while like video games may have not helped the cause, they are not the root cause
Yeah.
for the
It's not
problems.
like right when I started playing Assassin's Creed, suddenly I wanted to make an Assassin's Guild and start stabbing people every day.
Well,
You don't want to be an
Cole already
Assassin's
wants to
Guild?
stab people every day.
Yeah,
I want to be an
It's because he's
Assassin's
psychotic,
Guild.
not because he plays video games.
Yeah, because I'm fucking psychotic.
an Assassin's Guild would be pretty bitchin'. I could get behind that. I mean, I'd be
That'd
like,
be dope as fuck, dude.
I mean, I'd be like a huge ass assassin. But
See,
if you know
so-
me, you know I don't have a presence for a really big guy, which is kind of weird.
so yeah, like, but like here's kind of the point is that with video games, they're entertainment and they're a way to kind of live out your fantasies.
Yeah, it's
Like,
just
for
like
some people, it's just enjoyable, you know,
Yeah.
having
And-
fucking
and
big numbers and bright
it's-
like colors and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's also
for some
like-
people, like me, it's so that you can escape the harsh realities of the prison that you call life.
Jeez. And also for people, it's so easy to point fingers at video games. Books could do the same amount of damage that a video game could do to a person.
But I mean, couldn't the same argument be taken to like things like, oh, why alcohol is legal and why weed is illegal? It's like it always depends on the person at hand, and I don't know. I feel like a lot of adults like to blame other things instead of their bad parenting. To be honest.
Well, yeah, it could be bad parenting, or you could be an A+ parent and your kid still turns out shitty. It's like,
Yeah, that's kind of the thing with kids is you can have an influence and it can be a major influence, but really it's kind of like a random pull,
like,
hope
sort
you're
of
lucky situation.
like having a child is like rolling the 20-sided die in D&D to make your character. You have no idea what the fuck is going to happen.
You could have
For all you know, your child could have like 8 penises or something.
you could have like +3 to fucking
dick size?
to charisma or whatever, but if you still roll a 1, you're fucked.
Exactly.
I don't want my child to be a one. Like I want my child to be like me,
And
nerdy
that's-
as fuck, but I want
So you
him to
should-
like not
So
be
you
a
should
complete
always
meat.
make your child feel like a 10.
No,
And yeah,
that's
that's-
why I hate
that's-
America, because we don't tell our children that they suck and they need to become better. We tell them that F's are okay and that they can make it up and that they're not stupid when they need to be fucking told you're lazy and you're stupid.
Okay, but here's the thing is, again, it's a person by person basis, and then there's like a right way to go about it and a wrong way to go about it. I don't think that everybody needs to be given like the harsh truth of you fucking suck, you better just kill yourself because you're worthless kind of shit. Because, like, for example, I fucking dropped out of high school, but I got my GED anyways, and then I went and fucking, I've got a job now, and I'm making decent money, and I'm planning on improving myself. But I know that there are people who are gonna, like, fucking drop out of high school, and then they're just gonna sit on their ass all day and not fucking do anything. Whittney!
Hey, I'm in college, bitch.
Whittney, what are you getting a degree in again?
Electrical swag.
And what were your grades this last semester?
A, B, C, D.
Grades should not be a measure of someone's worth, though.
No, they shouldn't. But, you know, you can't. I don't think it should be everybody's a winner situation. Because that's some bullshit. That's not how it works. But I don't think it should be like, you lost, you better fucking get better. Because if you don't, I'm going to disown you.
That's kind of why a lot of Asians commit suicide, because their parents
Yeah,
tell them
it's
that.
way too much pressure.
Yeah. Pressure.
And
That's why
I-
black kids don't do that much, while Asian kids will succeed.
Oh my
The ones that don't kill themselves.
Oh my god.
Okay.
We're
See-
reaching the hour limit. Can we end on a positive note?
Oh no, that's
I'm gonna
physically
end something
impossible.
negative. The pressure on Japanese people as like because of their culture and society, the pressure to always perform at your best and shit like that, their population is declining.
Well,
Fat-
their population
they
declining.
are
Their
not-
population
they are
declining
not
by not having
giving birth.
sex.
Fast enough to, or like, you know, people aren't getting pregnant enough to make up for the amount of people dying.
Well, I mean, because again, you've been taught your whole life to like don't have any distractions, don't get married until you get a good job. And I mean, these people go, they get these good jobs, and then what are you gonna do when you're like working
Just
all
that
day?
though. Japanese, like in Japan, when having sex, the dudes aren't enjoying it. It's stressful for them because it's a job to them. They have the job of both satisfying the person that they're with and satisfying themselves, and they can't treat it as a pleasure thing because they have to make sure that both people are enjoying themselves and both people are coming and like all that shit.
Alright, everyone. Is everyone coming? Do we all have little...
What happened?
Has everyone reached orgasmic peak?
Yes, I already came. I'm way ahead of you.
Sure. Is incredibly stressful on like everybody because of just the way it currently is, and so their population is rapidly declining, and they are not giving a birth often enough to make up for the amount of people who are dying.
I think we should wrap up here. 1, because we're reaching our limit, and 2, because I have to go to the airport.
No, it's just Cole uncomfortable with the topic.
I have to go to the
Because-
airport.
because He's a little Jew baby.
Jew baby. Okay, yeah, we're gonna end it on there. We've already pissed off a handful of people tonight. Okay.
Holy God.
If anybody has any closing remarks, I appreciate everyone for staying.
I am signing out as the most intelligent person in this call.
Cole is a Jew baby.
Babies in a normal oven or a microwave oven?
Oh God.
I prefer both because I like my toast nice and crunchy.
Because of what?
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Okay. Well, for future reference, we're gonna probably start doing about 2 podcasts a week, maybe even only 1. So, probably when school starts.
You should probably cut out the part about Jew babies.
Yeah, I don't cut out anything. It's all going in there.
Okay, if you have no shame, that's fine. I
have no shame.
I have no shame. If you have no shame, I'm down.
I have no shame.
Let's do it.
All right,
do it.
Babies, microwave ovens.
Okay.
See you later, Jew baby.
Good night, everybody.